Welcome back to the channel, everyone, for another ESO build video. I'm Fuzzy Juggernaut. Today I'll be showing you my solo MagBlade 2.0 for the Stonethorn patch. But first, before I get into the build, if you like the video or the content on this channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and push that notification bell to get the latest content from this channel. Now let's get into it. So this is an updated version of the last MagBlade build that I had. This is a high crit build packed with a lot of damage. We have good survivability and great sustain, and since our main spammables are going to be our light attacks and Swallow Soul, this setup has great mobility and can stay in permastealth, so we're never really have to worry about running out of resources while we're in stealth or any of that stuff. It's really nice. Overall, this build's a lot of fun, and it's perfect for the solo player. Also, this build works really well in both CP and in non-CP without having to change anything around, which makes this build very convenient. You can literally take down tanky targets in the 30k health area, so no more focusing only squishy low health targets. You'll be able to go toe to toe with almost anyone in Cyrodiil or Imperial City. Before I forget, the actual gameplay will be at the end of the video, so make sure you watch till the end and see the build in action. But enough talking, let's hop into the build. So here we are into the build portion of the video. I'm going to try to make it as fast as possible. Go to the character sheet. We are Khajiit on this. You can run Dark Elf, Argonian, Breton, whatever you'd like. It's completely up to you. I've tried it with all of them, and it actually worked well with all of them. That's how good the build is. But ultimately I went with the Khajiit for the racial passives. I wanted the more crit damage and stealth and all that. But you can run whatever you'd like. So we're sitting at 33,000 max magicka. Our magicka recovery is 1776, almost 1800. Our max health is 16,377, which seems low, but we're going to be in stealth a lot. In Cyrodiil, it'll be pushed to 22,000, so we'll be okay. Health recovery is 902, max stamina is 10,500, and our stamina recovery is at 743. Overall, not bad. We're at 2,097 spell damage, so almost 2,100. We're sitting at 67.8% spell crit. You can get this actually up to 70 or 80%. I don't have everything leveled up on this guy right now, but it is obtainable, and half of the clips that you saw is actually at 80%, and that's due to certain things we're using on our sets also, so I'll go into that in detail once we get more into the build. But right now you want to be at least above 60% crit, and this build actually hits really hard despite the numbers that you see. Then we have 13,063 spell resistance, 11,240 physical resistance, and 2,650 critical resistance. Now we'll buff up. Our resistances are at 18,343, and our physicals at 16,528. Now we'll hit the buff. So see what our spell's at. So we're sitting at 2516, plus one of our sets is going to give us 600, which everyone can guess what that is. So that's going to put us at 3,100, and then along with being in stealth and hitting somebody from the side or from behind, is going to give us another about 230 something. And then along with, if you take resources or a flag or whatever, that can also give you the resource buffs, which will also give you another couple hundred damage. So overall we sit at about 3,600 spell damage, 35 to 36, something like that. We're sitting at 64 points in magicka. For our Mundus, we're running the Shadow. This is in critical damage and healing, which is really nice. This helps with the build very well. Running Clockwork Citrus for food. You can run Bewitched Sugar Skulls or whatever else you'd like, but Clockwork Citrus Fillet and Bewitched Sugar Skulls are the two best foods in my opinion that I like to use. I like the Clockwork Citrus because the magicka recovery and the health recovery is a little bit nice for a sustain, since we're at a little bit of lower magicka, 33,000, so it's up to you what you want to run. We are Vampire Stage 1. I actually need to put this to Stage 2. It will increase our cost of our resources, but I think we can sustain it. I used it on a different race, and it was viable, so I'm pretty sure I can get away with it on the Khajiit. I just haven't put it to Stage 2 yet, but you can run whatever stage you want. Just make sure you have Vamp on this so you can stay in stealth and move around pretty fast. Now we'll go into our inventory, see what we're running. For my pots, I used Crown Troy Restoration pots, so you can use whatever pots you'd like. Honestly, you can use the Essence of Health ones that are Tri-Stat pots that you can craft. I personally like these the best because I use degeneration on the back bar and it allows the steel to stay in stealth while it's ticking on somebody, so you can get away with putting that on somebody. If you don't want to use that, you can put on spell pots and that will get you your major sorcery too. Now for our first set, we're running the Medusa set. This is a really, really good set in my opinion. I like it a lot. This is honestly one of the best sets in the game in my opinion, especially for a MagBlade. We have a disease damage enchantment on here. You don't have to run that, you can run shock. I've been testing this set out with multiple characters and I've had this set for quite a while, so that's why I have Nurnon on here. You can run sharpened, it's completely up to you. Also, I ran it with precise and that's how I was able to get the 80%. So if you want to run it with precise, then you can, that will help boost it, and then run it with the thief instead of the shadow. Completely up to you. That will put you at 80%. The damage was a little bit less, but your overall, all your abilities ticked quite often, so it made up in the end. It's up to you what you want to do, but I needed to move stuff around, so I kept it this way, and I like it how it is right now. This set's going to give us spell crit, more spell crit, and then more spell crit, which is nice. And then gain minor force at all times, increasing your critical damage done by 10%, which is also nice, so we don't have to run channel acceleration or any of that stuff on our back bar, which overall is nice for the speed, but we really don't need it. It allows us to slot an extra ability. Then on our back bar, we're going to be running Restoration Staff of Medusa. This is sharpened with the weapon damage enchantment. You really don't need sharpened, I just didn't want to waste the transmutation crystals right now. You can put powered or precise or Nurnon for increased healing. It's completely up to you. Whatever you'd like to run on there. Just make sure it's a Medusa Restoration Staff, and you can actually switch these out and put War Maidens too if you want to run all jewelry of Medusa. Our monster helm set's going to be Slimecraw. This is infused. You preferably want all divines on this, but I didn't have it and I didn't want to transmute this either. This is Max Magica enchantment on here, which is stacks nice with the infused, so it gives us a little more resources. Slimecraw is going to give us a spell crit, and then gain minor berserk at all times, increasing your damage done by 8%, which stacks really nice with this build, especially since we got good amount of damage and we have really high crit. Then we also have the shadow with the critical damage. Now we got another 8% stacked on top of it, which makes it really nice. This is our monster set on our head and our shoulders. The shoulders are going to be divines with Max Magic Enchant. You want Max Magic Enchant on all of this. Then we have Medusa chest piece. Right here, reinforced. Preferably you'd want divines with the Max Magica enchant. Then War Maiden. War Maiden's our second set. This is an amazing set. The buff that this got, this is like one of the strongest sets for Magica classes in my opinion for the MagBlade. This thing's awesome, especially since all of our stuff is Magica damage, so it stacks really nice. It's going to give us that extra 586 spell damage. It actually goes even higher if you have every single thing golded out. But this is going to give us spell crit, max magica spell damage, and 586 spell damage to your magic damage abilities, which is everything we do. We have divines on this with max magica enchantment, so this won't show up on your stat sheet, but it is there when you hit. Then we have War Maiden gloves, golded out, divines, max magica, Medusa's impenetrable, max magica enchant on there, and then War Maiden shoes, divines, max magica enchant. I went for Medusa's pants and chest for the extra health that I'll get from the passives from heavy armor. You can run it how you'd like. If you want to go all light, you can and just run weapons and jewelry, or you can run two pieces on the, you can run the chest and the legs, and with the jewelry. The War Maiden's jewelry I already had infused, so I just left it as it is. This is spell damage on here. This is going to increase our overall damage, which we really want. And then Ring of Medusa, I have this one infused, but instead I put Max Magica Recovery on this one just because I wanted my recovery a little higher since we are running a little lower in Magica than we normally would. Having it set up like this though, our sustain is actually really, really good. And then a War Maiden ring, and I left this arcane with spell damage on it. Now you can infuse it too if you want. You have a little less Magica, but you can infuse it and get more spell damage. It's completely up to you. I just liked how it was. I thought all my stats were perfect and were to the way that I like to play with my playstyle, but everyone's different. This is just a template, so it's completely up to you. Now we'll go into our skills. So on the front bar, I'm running Merciless Resolve. You can pause the video and check and read what these do, but we got a 20,532 Magica tooltip, so that's really nice for the magic damage, and it heals us for 50% of the damage done after 5 light attacks. That's really nice. Then we have Inner Light. This is just for the crit and the max magicka that we'll get on the front bar. Helps out, pushes us to that 67 to 70% crit. Next ability is going to be Shatter Your Skies. This is going to allow us to go in stealth. We can pretty much perma-stealth on this build, so it makes it really viable and nice for this type of build, especially since we're on all light armor and we're super squishy. Our next one is going to be Swallow Soul. This is one of our main spammables besides our light attacks. This is really nice. It deals 8,736 damage. It actually, all these will do a lot more when we're fully buffed up with the tooltips, so they're going to hit way, way harder than what you're seeing on the screen right now. And this also heals us, so while we're doing damage, we're getting constant heals back, which is really nice. Impale, this is going to be our Execute. You can switch this out if you'd like for, let's see here, I don't know if I have it on this one, I don't. Well, you can switch this out. This is pretty much, I like the Execute. This hits extremely hard, especially when they're under 25% health. It pretty much annihilates everyone. But you can go with Flame Clinch if you want, or one of those for extra damage. I personally just like the Impale, and it hits extremely far away, 28 meters, which is really nice. Then our final ability, which is our ulti, is going to be Soul Harvest. This is at 15,038 magic damage, which is nice, and increases damage against them by 20%. And it also afflicts them with Major Defile, which is also nice. So now for our back bar, our first ability is going to be Siphon and Tax. This actually heals us, so you just want to proc this, and then when you're in your front bar, we're already doing light attacks to proc our Merciless Resolve and all that stuff, so it actually, you're going to get heals back from this. It's really nice, another way to heal. We got a lot of heals with a lot of our damage that we're doing. Then we have Rapid Regeneration. This is just for a heal over 5 seconds. Then I have Shadow Disguise again on the back bar. The reason that I do this on both bars is because it's so glitched out and laggy in Cyrodiil and Imperial City. Even in BGs, it's crazy right now that I need this so that I can, on both bars, so that I can pretty much escape and do what I need to do and survive. Normally I wouldn't run this on both bars. On the front bar I'd run something else and just run this on the back bar, but because the game's so jacked up right now, I have to run it on both bars, which sucks. Then we have Degeneration. This is going to give us our major sorcery, which will increase our spell damage by 20%, and it also puts a little bit of a dot on them and ticks, and then it honestly only takes you out of stealth for a brief second, and you go right back into stealth. So it's nice. You can have it tick on somebody and while you're still in stealth. Then we have Concealed Weapon. This is pretty much just so we can sprint while we're in stealth and run around really fast. It increases your movement speed by like 23% while you're invisible. Then for our last one, it's Ulti, and this is Soul Tether. This is pretty much just for the passives that we get from the siphoning tree, which is, let me see here, right here. So this is going to give us max magicka by 8% while having it slotted, which we have 2. And then increase our healing done if we need our healing by 6% because we have 2 slotted on there, and then ultis. So it's really nice. It can save you, especially if you're getting bogged down by a group. You throw out your tethers on this, and it will also give you heals and give you a little bit of time to escape, hopefully. Now we'll go into the champion points. So in our green tree, we're running 51 into Warlord, 8 into Sprinter, 4 into Siphoning. And you can move these around how you'd like. Everyone's champion points are different. This is just how I run them on here. 37 into Mooncalf, 75 into Arcanist, 31 into Befile. You can actually take points out of the other ones and put this into here. I just didn't want to go for the full amount in there right now because I felt like I needed them in other places, but you can move them around how you see fit. 37 into Tumbling, and then 27 into Shade. The reason I have so much into Shade is because this allows us to pretty much insta-stealth and stay permanently stealthed out for as long as we need without using a lot of resources at all. So this is a major lifesaver. It's a must for me. You don't have to run it this way if you don't like to, but I'm telling you right now, if you have this amount of points in here, you'll be able to stealth for unlimited amount of time. Then Blue Tree, we have 61 into Elfborn, 64 into Elemental Expert, 52 into Spell Erosion, 21 into Staff Expert. You can actually stack some more in here if you'd like, but this is what I found to work best for me. 72 into Master at Arms, none into this tree. Then we have 72 into Ironclad, 48 into Resistance, 37 into Thick Skin, 43 into Elemental Defender, 43 into Hardy, 27 into Quick Recovery for the heals. You can run more in these trees if you'd like, but since we're in stealth a lot, I don't worry about it too much. I'd rather just have the direct resistances when I need them, but this, ultimately, we're going to be going into stealth and staying into stealth a lot, even when we do our weaving in and out on our attacks. So it's completely up to you what you'd like to run in here. This is just how I run mine. I think that about covers everything. If I did miss anything, just let me know down in the comments below. I did go sort of faster and didn't fully cover all of it, but if you want to know anything, just ask and I'll be more than happy to let you guys know. I appreciate everyone checking out the video, and I hope you all have a good day, and I'll catch you on the next one. And now for the gameplay.
Don't be quiet for the others. Strength that comes in numbers, so we must get loud. It's foul. And if we never hit the ground, keep our head up in the clouds, we will make it somehow. Stop if you don't stop. If we don't stop, we will make it somehow. Stop if you don't stop. If we don't stop, we will make it somehow. Stop if you don't stop. If we don't stop, we will make it somehow. Stop if you don't. If we never hit the ground, keep our head up in the clouds, we will make it somehow.
Would I get any one
Let's
hit
go.
this time?
Chilling at the beach with a couple girls from high school. Got one for us each, blonde hair and their eyes blue. Growing up in Cali, that's the type you see and ride through. No, I ain't complaining, man, we love that, it's a nice view. Stealing lots of booze from the mall on the weekends, cause we wanna drink until our brains stop thinking. Pouring cheap vodka into bottles of that Grey Goose, cause the ladies wanna think they're sipping on that good juice. Save us now. These kids are running from their dreams, never feeling free. We must stop this now. It can't.
I got a leeching
This
shield.
life is nothing but a story. Don't let it be boring. We must never back down.
Oh, does it?
Don't be quiet for the others. Strength that comes in numbers, so we must get loud. It's found.
Like the
And
DPS.
if we never hit the
what-
ground,
no.
keep our
Was
head
that
up
you
in the
reviving him?
clouds.
Okay.
We will make it somehow.
Like, why is that guy going to
If we don't stop, if we don't stop, we will make it somehow. Stop if you don't stop. If we don't stop, we will make it somehow. Stop if you don't stop. If we don't stop, we will make it somehow. Stop if you don't. If we never hit the ground, keep our head up in the clouds, we will make it somehow. If we never hit the ground, keep our head up
Zach, I just saw that, dude.
Chilling at the beach with a couple girls from high school. Got one for us each, blonde hair and their eyes blue. Growing up in Cali, that's the type you see in right.